going to start off by creating a new project in Adobe Premiere Pro. Again, this will be in Google Drive, My Drive Video. I'm going to call this one Color. Hit OK to create the project. Then I'm going to go to my folders and I'm going to go to StuShare, our class folder, PAAVC. Then I'm going to open up the color source videos and I'm going to copy the color source videos folder. Go to Quick Access, Google Drive File Stream, My Drive. Go to my video folder and I will paste this new source folder. Once that is finished copying, we can import our media. Just go to Google Drive File Stream, My Drive Video, find the color source videos, and I can import that folder. Then there will be 5 video files I can work with. And I will start with the first one, drag that down to my timeline. Then if I click on the color workspace, this is what should come up. I'm going to change my lumetri scopes to waveform type YC no chroma. And so instead of seeing this color information here, I will just see a brightness scope on this picture from the left side to the right. So where her white dress is, that is this part right here. Where the white is on his sleeves, about right here, is this part right here. So you'll see that nothing goes all the way to the top and nothing goes all the way to the bottom. So we're going to try and expand this range to make the picture look a little better. I'm going to click on the basic correction, and the first thing I'm going to do is do the white balance selector. So what you want to do is you want to click on a part of the screen that should not be tinted. It should be some sort of shade of white. So I'm going to click on his arm, and you'll see that that made him a little bit whiter. If you do the same thing on her dress, it will change the color balance so that that is white and the rest of it is adjusted around that. Once you have your white balance selected, we can go down into the tone. So we can adjust the exposure. So since this looks kind of dark, we're going to up the exposure a little bit, and that will kind of brighten up the whole image. So you'll see all of this shift up as we move it to the right. Now if you were to mess this up and go too far, you can double click any of these and it will reset to the default. I'm going to move this just a little bit, and you probably want to stop once the first few pixels start to get near 100 so that you don't overdo it. Now when you move contrast, that's going to stretch everything up. So the highs get higher and the lows get lower. So I'm going to shift that a little bit to the right, and you can go as far right as you think makes it look better. Highlights will make the brightest parts brighter, but you don't want to go so bright that you lose detail on these background pieces. So here you can see the detail in that. If I go too high, it all gets washed out. So you don't want to go too high. And shadows are kind of the opposite. Those are the low levels. Our lows do not go all the way down, so I'm going to drag the shadows down just a little bit. Whites are the brightest colors, and blacks are the darkest colors. So we can add even more contrast by adjusting those. And then you'll see here, by moving your blacks, you'll actually get some pieces hit the bottom, where you actually have some black over here in the background. Since we're working with color, we're not particularly concerned with the clip, so I'm just going to make this a short little piece. And I'm going to add in a second piece, just to the right. This also doesn't need to be particularly long. Click on my second piece of media, switch back to my lumetri scopes. I'm going to white balance this image. We're going to try the auto button here. And while that seems to be an improvement, I think it actually went a little too far. So I'm going to take my exposure down some and adjust some of these other numbers, and I think I can get it to look a little better than it had it looking. So if I click on auto again, I think that looks worse than what I just had. So I'm going to undo to go back. Yeah, that looks a lot better. Another thing you can do is if you want to have a black and white image, you can take the saturation down here and move that. So if I move it to the right, we'll get extra color. So if you think your colors are a little faded, you can move it to the right and you'll bring out those greens. They'll really start to be a lot greener, and this orange will come out as more colorful as well. But you could do it the opposite way, and you could bring saturation down and you will change this to a black and white clip. Or if you want to have just a hint of color, you can put it somewhere in the middle and you'll have a little bit of color left. I'm going to switch over to graphics. I'm going to add my name to the video here. Go ahead and transition between those two clips. Can fade in and fade out on those, fade in and fade out the beginning and the end, and then export this for Google Classroom. So export media. Again, we want adaptive medium. I will name this one color. Hit save and export to finish my video.